Well, hello again, YouTube. It's Petey Two Finger, and some sad news. Chicago. Well, is it really sad? Chicago, the greatest one in Chicago, the greatest one of all time. Steve Dahl announcing prostate cancer. Now, it's not a beach party, but it's not as scary and painful as it sounds, or one might imagine, as 1 in 8 men are diagnosed with this same type of cancer. He's going to be getting it taken care of. He's going to be starting off with some radiation treatment. So I had noticed a photo of Stever in a hospital gown earlier in the week, and he didn't really say anything. So I thought, gee, I wonder what's going on with Stever. And then today I read the news that there is a deal you can get. There's an introductory offer where you can get a really good deal on Stever's podcast. So if you're a fan, if you remember Steve and Gary, the golden age of radio, Steve was really a cocky SOB. He really was and he ended up mellowing out and becoming, he's just as entertaining. When I've listened to his podcast, Stever is phenomenal. And I know I made another video earlier today where I was talking about how I'm not a big podcast fan. The only one that I ever listened to was Mark Maron's WTF, and that's because I completely I don't really consider Stever to be a podcast. Stever, he's just Steve Dahl. It's just his radio show, and I know he does it with Dag and Brendan Greeley, and he's been doing that format for quite some time, and it is 100% better than any radio show you've ever heard. It's also definitely better than 99% of the podcasts out there too. So I would twist your arm. Check out Steve Dahl's podcast. One of the great Americans of our time. He set the stage for people like Eddie and Joe Blow at the Boarding Zoo. Mad Cow. Hey guys, it's Mad Cow. I'm Mad Cow Muller. Hey, who's that? It's Bronx Bruce Capone. Get him out of the effing studio. What the F are you doing in here, Bruce? And also Howard Stern. Howard Stern wouldn't have a pot to piss in if it wasn't for this guy. Stever, the original, the originator, the hater number one, racist, homophobe number one with his disco demolition, such a huge racist. He hated disco music that much because of his racism and his bigotry and his thick-headed Swedishness, being this big, fat, bloated Swede, wearing clogs in public and just passing gas with no care for anything decent. So if that sounds like something appealing, you can definitely check out the Steve Dahl podcast. This guy, a truly amazing, and well, that word is, we everything is amazing now with the millennials. He is just he's hilarious. Steve Dahl is my favorite disc jockey. Anybody from Chicago worth their salt is not going to be like, oh, I really love Johnny B. Jonathan Brandmeier in the morning. I really love Kevin. That's good. Kevin Matthews. No, it's Steve Dahl. And that other guy, well, we don't talk about him anymore. Him and his wife, Gary the Snooze Fest Meyer, decided to go a different way with his life and fade into delirium and sleep-inducing radio, where Steve Dahl was the funniest son of a bitch. I wouldn't let my daughter go with you or your sidekick for all the tea in China, buddy. And I'm going to let you guys go because I'm going to want to actually listen to some of this content now. Steve Dahl is, he is just one of those, a phenomenon. It's something that's so much better than anyone else who ever did radio. You don't know what to say about it, you know. He really was head and shoulders above everybody else. And I met Steve and talked to him for a good 10 minutes. Had a nice long conversation with him, and he wasn't in a hurry to get rid of me. He entertained me. He was patient with me, and he listened. And that's rare to run into a celebrity, unlike Kevin Matthews, who was a total prick the last time when I met Kevin. It was at one of his Floating Mary demonstrations. And he went off on me because I did not buy his book. I had the gall to come up. I was first in the meet and greet line, and I merely wanted to shake his hand and retell a quick story about, 20 years ago back in the golden age of radio, something that went down that meant a lot to me, and wish him good health. That's all I wanted to do. And he was I have never been treated more rudely by a celebrity than I was treated by Kevin Matthews, because I didn't buy a copy of his book, which is a blasphemy handbook. It's a manual on how to blaspheme, is what that book is. So I'm sorry, Kevin, and you should be aware, not everybody believes that it's cool to be dragging around a statue of Mother Mary. Not everybody will bow down to Mother Mary, because in my Bible, it says, "Thou shalt have no other God before me." And that includes statues that you find in the dumpster behind the delicatessen. Sorry, Kevin. Steve Dahl, he was the one who originated all of this type of radio, and he was the one that maintained his class. That's the thing about Steve. He had class. That's one thing that he never lost. He was classy. He was married to the same woman. Yes, he had a drinking problem. Maybe there was some other things involved going around in the 80s. And he got on it, and he got sober, and he went on to be a great father to his sons. Now he's in his golden years, and he's facing this challenge. So I want to be here to support Steve Dahl in every way that I possibly can. And that includes trash talking his coworker Kevin Matthews, because what an unbelievable steaming pile of turds that guy turned out to be when the rubber meets the road. Hawking his wares in a church of all places. You're going to go off on me for not having the money to buy your book when you didn't even give me the chance to tell you that I myself am disabled, that I myself have been kicked to the curb by life. And frankly, I couldn't afford the $35 for your paperback book about your garbage picked idolatrous statue of Mary. So that's how that cookie crumbles. And when it comes to WLUP, there's one guy that's at the top of the heap, and that's Stever. You guys, thank you for joining me on this one. Like I always like to say, hug your pets. You know, we're not going to be here forever. So, hug your pets and peace.